It was a small and peaceful village surrounded by green hills, flowing rivers, and golden fields. The people in the village were simple, hardworking, and kind-hearted. Among them was a young boy named David. David was a bright and energetic boy who loved to help others. However, deep in his heart, he often felt lost. Every night, he would look up at the stars and wonder, "Why am I here? What is my purpose in life?" His mother, a wise and gentle woman, always reassured him, saying, "God has a plan for you, my son. Trust him, and one day you will understand." But David struggled to believe it. He wanted to do something great, but he didn't know how or where to start. The great storm. One evening, dark clouds covered the sky, and a fierce storm hit the village. The wind howled, trees fell, and heavy rain flooded the fields. The villagers tried to save their homes, but by morning, everything was in ruins. Many families lost their houses, the crops were destroyed, and the village was filled with sadness. David's father, a humble farmer, looked at their flooded land and sighed, "We have lost everything." His mother wiped away a tear and whispered, "God will show us a way." David felt helpless. He wanted to help his family and the people of his village, but he didn't know what to do. That night, he knelt by his bed and prayed, "God, please show me my path. I am lost." A mysterious encounter. The next morning, as David walked through the village, he saw an old man sitting under a large tree near the village well. The man looked tired, his clothes were torn, and his feet were covered in dust. David ran to him and offered him water and food. The old man smiled kindly and said, "You have a good heart, young boy. God has given you a special gift." David was puzzled. "What gift?" he asked. The old man pointed at his hands and said, "These hands can do wonders. Use them to help others, and you will find your purpose." Before David could ask more, the old man got up and walked away, disappearing into the distance. The rebuilding begins. David thought about the old man's words all day. That evening, as he looked at the broken village, he decided to take action. He grabbed a shovel and started clearing the mud from their farm. He worked for hours, sweat dripping from his forehead. Seeing David's determination, his friends joined him. Then more people from the village came together. One by one, they rebuilt their homes, replanted their fields, and restored their village. Days turned into weeks, and slowly, the village came back to life. The land turned green again, the houses stood strong, and the people found hope. For the first time, David felt true happiness, not because of what he had, but because of what he could give. A new opportunity. One day, a rich merchant passed through the village. He was looking for young workers who were hardworking and kind. He heard about David and came to meet him. "I have seen how you led your people through difficult times," the merchant said. "Come with me to the city. I will give you work, and you will learn great things." David was surprised. He had never thought of leaving his home. But then he remembered the old man's words, "These hands can do wonders." Maybe this was part of God's plan for him. With his parents' blessings, David left for the city. A life of purpose. In the city, David worked hard and learned many new skills. He became successful, not just in business, but in kindness. He helped the poor, taught young children, and built homes for those in need. Years passed, and David became a respected man. But he never forgot his village. One day, he returned home to find it more beautiful than ever. The people welcomed him with open arms. An old woman came forward and said, "You are our light, David. You showed us that even in the darkest times, God has a plan." David smiled and said, "I only followed what God put in my heart. His plan is always greater than our fears." From that day on, David dedicated his life to helping others. He understood that life may seem difficult, But if we trust, work hard, and keep doing good, God's plan will always lead us to where we truly belong. Moral of the story: God's plan is greater than our worries. Even when life is difficult, He is guiding us to something better. Hard work and kindness will always lead you to your purpose. Helping others brings true happiness.